Scott, thank you. I'm sure you're like back to back with interviews today, so I appreciate you taking the time.
Not at all. No, it's great. A pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Pleasure to meet you.
We need to first talk about how your film just helped confirm my fear of heights. And I didn't even know I had one until really the first half hour of Fall. I was losing my mind. Absolutely.
That's funny. Oh, well, no, sorry about that.
Yeah. So you hit the ground running with Fall, right? From the very beginning, from the instigating incident with Dan to the emotionally charged conversation between Becky and her father to a near car accident that shocked me as well. And this is all within the first, 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, I think 12, actually. I think you might.
Yeah. And soon we're climbing the tower. The intensity of this and the unnerving moments never stop from beginning to end, but you manage to tackle things like grief and overcoming your fear and perseverance. What was the inspiration for this film, for writing it?
I think it was two. There was one is to really take the audience on a real experience, and really tap into the heights and the fear of heights, which I think I carry and a lot of people carry, and like the why of that is, and that ties very closely, I think, with life and death, honestly, and the feeling of the complexities of that, right, and of why someone kind of pushes themselves to the edge is really kind of like testing life, right? But then on the other side of that is obviously the other side of that. So I think I think it was really to explore living life was the theme. And to explore grief, really, like as a central theme, to really kind of get into that, because I felt like the time, what's been happening the last couple of years has been so hard and traumatic for everyone. It's I think we all kind of are carrying some of that with us, and I think Becky's story is kind of tapping into that somewhat, and then really trying to climb out of it and live life to the and get back on the saddle, basically. So there was that. But yeah, I think having a central kind of a very personal central theme to kind of really put down as a human story, but wrapping it up in what I really want it to be more, the way I looked at it is more like, rather than a film, as a theme park ride, and kind of put you through the motions. Because I remember, I think it's Alfred Hitchcock might have said something, I'm probably misquoting completely, but if you could press piano and it had emotions, you wouldn't need films anymore. And I think it's true. And I think we've had change from where we were with, now we've got streaming and all these other things. The experience of cinema and the cinematic experience of immersion is different, and gives you different tools at your disposal to really do something. So I really wanted to use that tool to its maximum and really do something that was original, that deserved to be in theaters as the maximum experience you get out of it. And that was a big driver, really.
It's funny you mentioned that, Scott, because I think about some of the specialty theaters that are out there now. And yeah. I saw a film in 4DX for Regal, I was not a fan of it because it was moving so much. And it was like the original Matrix, right?
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
It was all over the place. But as I'm watching this, my stomach was dropping so much. And all I kept thinking was, what if I saw this film in a theater like that? What would have happened to me?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's immersive. Like when we shot the film, we shot it we shot it for IMAX, right, on large format. And I remember the DP Mac. Typically when you're directing, especially kind of out in a remote environment like we were, you use like a portable monitor, right, like a little thing. But what he encouraged was a VR headset to put us into a theater, an IMAX theater, so we could see what it looked like in a theater. And that is a very different way to kind of frame and kind of film, grammatically tell and capture a story. And that went, and that I think really affected how we went about shooting the film. And so we literally like used what technology we could to kind of put us in that situation, to kind of make it for cinema. And I did that throughout the edit. When I was editing the movie, which was very kind of COVID-y home, and I would watch it throughout the edit on the theater and at the theater to try and really kind of carve it into the best version of that. So it's always been kind of front and center. So yeah, bigger screen the better is usually the rule for best experience on this one, for sure.
Yeah, as you're saying that, I'm thinking back to specific scenes, and I can see that it probably was enhanced by being able to see it through VR.
Yeah, because you look at the screen different, right? You actually go a lot wider, really, I think, in when you're doing that. So it's a good influence for sure.
So what made you make the jump to a film like Fall? The previous films that you've directed are a little bit different.
Yeah.
And
worse. I think you're allowed to say worse. It's okay.
Not saying that. But these are, I mean, they're different types of films. They're more crime oriented, more action oriented, and this is more intense but focused on just really two main characters here. Why the jump to this type of film?
The truth is, this is the first film that Jonathan and I, the co-writer, who's written. We've probably rewritten every film we've worked on together, but it's usually been someone else's film that we've rewritten into something. This is the first film where it was our kind of concept that we came up with from the ground up, and so there's a great degree of kind of ownership, I suppose, of making it something from the seed up. It's very hard to get a film made. Like, I'll say this, like, just the world of which to kind of gather the madness of making a movie is an adventure on its own. And what would often happen in the past is, once they get going, that's when, like, say, as a director, I attach, and then, and you're rewriting someone else's baby, and it's, so you always got that glass ceiling of it's never entirely yours. And I think this is definitely the most honest and truthful film, because it's, there's a case of ownership, of creation, of being a baby. So I think this is the one that's most me, for sure. But equally, I always try and kind of find a way to, like, try and find a way to be as honest as possible with what you're making, right? So if you're doing kind of something that's a kind of a throwback, like, embrace the throwback, right? Don't fight it and try and make it into something else. But this one, it was from a real, it was the two very simple things. It was like the kernel of the height, playing heights as your shark, so to speak, but also kind of from a personal healing kind of grief story to really kind of tap into that for my own reasons, to kind of explore that on screen and do something there, was what at the heart of that film was, right? Really.
Absolutely. And that's explored a lot. I mean, mainly, obviously, through the two main stars here with Caroline Currey and Jenny Hunter. Can you talk about writing a film that hinges on the performance of these two actors, and they really carry the film, and without them it doesn't work? Can you talk about that?
100%. And the pressure on casting, like, casting being 90% of the battle, right? If you get the casting right, then you get the right actors and great actors, that makes all the difference. So I'd say that I was lucky that I was encouraged by the film's producers, financiers, like James, Christian, and David, to really kind of cast who was right for the film, not really just who you would typically. So that was the first time that's ever happened, really. And then
that's cool.
And then from a kind of making a real point of view, my wife helped a lot with the writing of this movie. I'll be honest, like because as Jono and I, as two kind of middle-aged guys, writing a female story, I was quickly kind of whipped into shape by Sarah, who kind of definitely sanded all the edges down. But no, I think we just try to tap into honesty across the board and get, and also Ginny and Grace shaped it, their personalities went into it. And when we blocked out the movie, we did rehearsals because we were filming at the height. To get access to direct them at the time was very hard. So what I did is I had a little kind of set made in my backyard. I just kind of put it together with plywood and a pole and nonsense, and basically had the girls come over, and we just worked through the film together to figure out the scene and sequences, and just get it from a pure honest point of view of how that should play. So by the time we're at 2,000 feet, they know what they're doing, and they're there. So it was doing it that way really helped shape what it was.
That's absolutely wild. Can you talk about also in terms of casting? They have two co-stars in this who are power players right now. I mean, Jeffrey Dean Morgan knows how to, pack an emotional punch with one or two lines in anything that he does.
Yeah, just with his eyes.
He walks on screen and you're like, oh no, here we go.
Here we go.
And then also, Mason Gooding is popping up in absolutely everything right now. How do you leverage those actors who have such small but impactful moments?
Well, truth be told, like Jeff, I'd done a movie with Jeff, and so we become friends through that, and that experience together in the past, and I love him a bit as an actor. I always loved him, and I kind of try and get him in everything I can, truthfully, because he's so great. And for this, we specifically wrote it for Jeff. We were like, okay, we've got this really important role that needs to carry a huge amount in essentially a short time. Like, who can do that? And I don't know many actors who can do that. So Jeff was the first port of call, literally kind of wrote it for him as him, because he's a kind of caring family guy. He is the dad in that film, and rang him up and said, listen, Jeff, I've got this role. I love you, dude. Take a look. And he, he loved it and he jumped in. So that was great. And then Mason, I met with quite a few actors with the role of Dan. And I was very aware, well, no spoilers, wanting to kind of give spoilers, right? But I think there's a complexity beyond kind of what appears to be. And I think it required certain characteristics that I remember meeting Mason and just kind of falling in love with him. So it was he made it very easy in a sense to be that part, and pleasure to work with. I'll be honest, the tone of the actors and how the lack of pretensions about this production, very kind of small crews, very intimate environment, very personal, very almost like theater, the way kind of we played around with it, and just great actors with just being the best sports, and for the girls, like being put through hell, frankly, like doing stunts and all this stuff that was not expected of them, but they went for it, did it. They achieved so far over the bar that and enabled us to capture all that stuff for real is what makes the movie. I think they really they kind of took a leaf out of Tom Cruise's book and just went for it themselves. So it was great. There's
definitely an authenticity that comes through based on their actions that I think would have, if that wasn't there, the film wouldn't have worked. And
I totally agree. Yeah, I think that's and it reflects beyond that. I think because they're in an environment at height, and because of the kind of elements around them and everything like that, and their performance is so genuine that the kind of camera, the team, the people around them filming it, we all feel it and share this kind of collective energy of authenticity. And I think that's very hard to fake. I think as an audience, when I'm watching it, even with the best visual effects, I'm watching it through this kind of, it has this sheet of kind of cushion that doesn't kind of connect me in the same way. And I think that's why it was so important to kind of be there, do it for real with authenticity, and really kind of go through the motions to capture it really the right way.
So we're hitting our time here, but I want to ask one last question. We didn't even get to talking about the actual filming of this and the absolutely stunning scenes and stunning visuals, I should say. There's one in particular, that shoe drop at one point, the first shoe drop, that camera angle, that whole sequence was just incredible. But just any scenes that stick out to you and how, going about filming this, what did that mean?
Well, I think overall, honestly, like overall, getting the central concept and the central idea right. So kind of finding a location where we can film it at 2,000 feet was key to the movie, right? So we could be up there, I think, and then it was taking care and just making sure we got the best version of things. So the shoe drop's a great example, that a real pain in the ass to hook a camera onto a shoe and drop it from a tower, right? That is not a practical use of people's time, you would think. But if you know for sure that's the way you want to tell the story, then it's worth it. And it's like, and doing those things. I think another one that I'm proud of that was very hard was the where Becky's on the ladder and she falls back. Like, I wanted it to feel like the start of the roller coaster going over the top. And not only did that kind of rigging take a lot of work and to kind of get it, and again, rigging it high, it took a lot of engineering. But then the fact that after filming it with our great stunt double Alice, like Grace kind of goes, can I do it? I think I can do it. And then kind of goes in and does it. And then it's her face in full shot doing this massive bloody drop. And, and it was incredible. And it's just the rushes are incredible. Because it's all captured, and it's that stuff I love, and it's worth the pain, I think, kind of capturing it and seeing it.
And it's definitely those scenes that I think make the movie work very well. And listen, it is a ride. It's a roller coaster ride. It's unnerving. It is intense. It doesn't stop. But so I commend you on that, because it was just an absolute joy to watch. And thanks for taking the time today.
Oh, look, pleasure. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Absolutely.
Great. Lovely. Thank you.